Welcome everyone to your official start to the weekend. If you are an NFL fan, it is the Thursday Night Delight. The Third and Long podcast is on the air. I am the incomparable Shane Harris. Above me is our beautiful baby Hope. To my left is the teacher extraordinaire, Mr. Philip Perrins. And look who's back from his holly bobs. OBH is in the house. Gentlemen, one at a time. I'll start with my beloved baby. How are you, my old buddy? You all right?
I am good, thank you. I had a great weekend in London, and I've had a great week, and I'm happy to be on this show as always.
Fantastic. Mr. P, what's happening? How are you?
I am amazing. I'm officially in school holiday mode. I went out with some friends on Saturday. I played football on Sunday where my team won 3-0. Get in. Monday I played just the whole day of playing FIFA, and I do not regret any of it. I love it, gents. I've also
college football game.
So I've played a demo, and I really, really like it. So I'm thinking next week, on payday, I might actually purchase it. But everything that I've done so far in terms of like playing like the demo and seeing stuff online, I'm really invested in it. I love just building the program kind of mode. Like I know in Madden we have like the franchise mode, but I'm really looking forward to like the recruitment, the building the players up. I really love things like that. So
you're going to be the Mountaineers?
I think I'm going to go Mountaineers. Failing that, I might go Oregon. But actually, what I really, really like the idea of is playing as the worst rated team and then building that program up. Yeah.
Penn State.
Yeah. Is it Penn State?
Come on, boys. All right, enough of this college football talk. No one's here for that, right? People are waiting with bated breath. We do with bated breath to see how OBH's holidays went. How was the trip away, my old buddy?
Oh, mate, we will be talking about college football later on because of Pat. But that's later on. Yeah, mate, I am feeling bad. 4 hours sleep in 36. Hence the glasses. Hence very slurry words. People might say, "What's the difference?" But yeah, I have a genuine excuse for some. I am absolutely battered. But hey, it's all good. It's all fun and fair, fun in love and war. And gentlemen, I have missed seeing your smiling faces on my screen on a Thursday. But I did enjoy listening to the show last week.
Good. I'm glad we can be here without you, which is nice.
The pictures under the bus as well, which is even nicer of you guys.
So who wants to do the news in 60 this week?
I will do it. I will do the news.
Go on, Emma. Take us away.
Right. Good luck in keeping it under 60.
Yeah, there you go. So this is the news.
This is the news in 60.
Ish. I have no idea where to start on this. There has been stupid amount of news to do. We'll talk about the training camp stuff in a bit, and obviously you've got the College Board coming over from Ireland with Game Day College coming over as well with Pat. We'll talk about that in a bit. But let's start with the Vikings. Obviously, they've renewed the contract with left tackle Darius Saw, a 4-year deal of $113 million with 77 of that guaranteed. The Browns have restructured Cooper's contract, meaning he gets $5 million extra this season, but it pays out the salary cap. I mean, it's a downfall of Deshaun Watson, isn't it? They have to pay him extra amount of money. Packers have given nose tackle Kenny Clark a new deal, $3 million worth up to 66, or 3 years worth up to 66 million. The Ravens sign safety Jackson, and this is a hell of a signing. I will not lie. Jackson's got a new alternate white helmet, and oh my god, it looks so good. What is it with Jags and dropping stunning stuff this year? ECB have reached out to the NFL, so the English Cricket Board have reached out to the NFL to help them to buy some teams to expand the 100 series. Am I correct in saying that, Ollie?
I'm not sure if it's to expand the 100 series or if it's just to try and bring more money in so they can compete with other domestic cricket leagues like the IPL and the Big Bash, who are absolutely rolling in money. But I can't see any of the NFL teams actually investing in it because I'm not sure how lucrative it actually is. I have many issues with the 100 as a competition, but I don't think it's the most lucrative in the world. So I'm not sure how well it will work.
Yeah. Obviously, we have,
issues with the 100.
we obviously heard the news about the Vikings rookie defensive back last week. Kyrie Jackson. Now the Vikings are going to cover the cost of the funeral. They are going to pass what would have been his signing bonus onto his family. That's done. That's dusted. And they are going to be wearing decals of Kyrie Jackson on their helmets throughout this season. They're keeping his locker there. Everything there, it's not being changed. And that's a real, round of applause to the Vikings on that.
It's a classy move, yeah.
Especially he'd never played it down with them at all. And finally, we have some players who are not holding out. They're not holding him. They're just giving up football full stop. Shaq Bennett, Super Bowl winning Shaq Bennett he's given up football after 2 years with the Bucks.
Shaq Barrett.
Barrett.
Yeah, what was it? About 7, 8 years, 18 years, 10 years in total. Kenyon Drake, who actually no one knew about this until we saw it pop up 2 days later. Put on his Instagram that he's retired from football as well. Michael Gallup has spent 3 months in Las Vegas and had enough and decided to retire from football after 6 years in the NFL.
Didn't see that one coming.
The Gallup one's sad because he had that injury. Was it 3 years ago now? That really bad injury, and he never really recovered from it.
Yeah, and that was the news in about 6 minutes, not 60 seconds. I'm tired. I've had 4 hours sleep in the last 36. I am tired.
Sorry, we'll bear with you this week. We'll bear with you this week. It's fine.
And to be fair, there was a lot of news, and we've not even started on the training camp stuff yet.
I know, right? It's ridiculous, isn't it? I am, I said about the, the Jags helmet. I do like that. I've also seen a lot of people saying they would like a full white Jags uniform.
Wasn't that you on Twitter?
I've seen 2 or 3.
I see someone. Oh, it was you.
Look, you're not meant to say that. Oh, you're meant to say.
Don't ruin the magic.
I have seen, to be fair, a few videos of them saying, look, or a few people going, how cool would it be if they had a full white uniform? The Bengals have got it. You guys have got it. There's a couple of teams.
We have Chargers of.
Yeah, to have a full white uniform, it would be pretty cool. And to wear it like a Wembley or something like that, that'd be pretty awesome. Let's talk about the retirees. Shaq Bennett. Now he's had a
Barrett.
Shaq Barrett.
Look, I'm tired.
Wade Barrett.
I've written it down. My R's look like N's. All right, so it says Bennett on my thing, but it is Barrett. Yeah, okay. Shaquille Barrett.
There you go.
Started his career in Denver before getting to Tampa Bay. He had enough receiving balls from Tyreek Hill, so decided to pack it in. After off-season in Miami.
He was a good player.
2-time Super Bowl champion in 50 and in 60. All-Pro in 2019. 2-time Pro Bowler.
Which Super Bowls did he win?
2.
Yeah, which ones?
50 and 60.
60's next year.
60, isn't that right?
He's got 50 in LV on Wikipedia.
LV's 55.
Yeah, mate. 5, Rocky 5, Rocky 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Rocky 5. Tommy
That's
Gunn.
literally how I remember my Roman. Did anybody else remember their Roman numerals from like that Simpsons thing? For like,
yes, I remember.
And then when I got to a certain age, not to spend too much time talking about it, 10 minutes in, but then after I got to a certain age, the rest of my Roman numerals came from WrestleMania, and that's how
obviously
WrestleManias because of the Roman.
Same as me, boy. Same as me.
Like Rocky 1 plus Rocky 2 equals Rocky 3. Like it's just kind of like.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway, as you were.
Shaquille Barrett. Oh my God.
Fucking hell. Take 2.
This is like Pat McCaffrey. You can't say Pat.
Oh God.
You can't say Christian McCaffrey. You can't say Christian McCaffrey, and now you can't say Shaq Barrett.
Shaq Barrett. I can say Shaq Barrett. I just can't put my teeth in today. Okay.
There's a big thing coming out about Pat McAfee next week, but I'll save that for later on in the episode.
I've got something, a video of that. I have literally just uploaded, which we're going to show in a minute.
Yeah.
Which I really want to show because I think it's such a cool thing. I think it's so cool, and I would love to be able to be part of this. But yeah. Anyway, as we were saying, Shaq Barrett, 400 tackles, 50 sacks, 3 interceptions, 22 forced fumbles, 5 recoveries. He's had a good career, two times Super Bowl champion. He was there alongside Von Miller as well in that brilliant secondary or the brilliant linebacker call that they had in Denver, wasn't it? Which was such a good defense there. He's stepping away. So what's that? 9 years in the NFL now?
Yeah.
Good career he had. Very good career. Michael Gallup. Now you said this was the shock, and it was a shock. He's only been in the NFL 6 years. Played all the time with the Cowboys. Like I said, went to the Raiders for the offseason, gone, I ain't getting any passes here. He can't even hit a bloody barn door, that mustachio guy. So I'm leaving.
Oh, less of it. Brother. We'll talk about brother later on as well, but not Minshew Mania, the original. We'll get onto that in a bit.
Right.
Well said.
Yeah. We said before the show, the only thing you can remember by Gallup was that serious injury he's had. His stats don't really shout out. 3,700 yards, 21 touchdowns. That's not a wow career, isn't it? He's ex-Colorado State.
I'd love to see his stats before his injury and his stats after his injury, because if I recall, a lot of people had him tipped to be a proper good receiver before the injury.
Yeah, I mean, his second season was 14 games, 66 receptions for 1,100 yards. And 6 touchdowns. That was his best year. And then obviously we had the COVID year. Then the year after he played 9 games, and then he wasn't the same. 14 games, he never got over 500 yards after his injury. So he wasn't the same kind of player. But then again, we've all seen it. Parents has had it. I've had it. Injuries, and you don't play the same after your injuries. I don't know what you two do.
You don't.
No, I never broken a bone in my life. Plenty of hearts, but no bones, if you know what I mean.
But what happens when you strain your wrist?
From those 440 mil curls, is there?
Blair. So I broke my leg as a teenager, and I broke it pretty bad, and I had issues with it throughout my 20s, and I had a few procedures and such. And now that I'm in my 30s, and I play football now twice a week for 2 teams. And as I'm walking down the street, and as I'm just walking in general, I just hear clickingness in my leg, and Gemma can hear it now. And I'm just going, that's just an injury that was nearly 20 years ago. And I'm having problems with it now because, despite all the rehab and, all the precautions that I put in place so that, we can try and help and support it, Father Time is undefeated. So, no one really recovers from a bad injury. We can look in soccer, we can look at it in football, we can look at it in any form of sports where if you have one bad injury, it literally alters your whole, your daily routine, let alone your athletic routine. So it's just one of these things that's really, really unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean,
I will say, go on.
I mean, but Hendo, sorry, you ended, you unfortunately had to finish your professional career because of a bad injury, and that's just, no offense, but it's wank. It's horrible, for something like that to happen.
I bend down now, and my knees literally sound like a peppercorn grinder.
Mine sounds like a cement mixer. I'm not joking.
I was going to say, Ollie's been around such a long time. He knows Father Time on a first-name basis. But you've got the likes of...
You're only a year younger than me.
I was going to say,
stop telling people that.
It's not even like there's massive age difference between the two of you. It goes Hendo just, you a year, me by 8, and then baby back in his 20s.
About 20.
Yeah, no, I'm probably the only one that could have made that joke because I actually have the youth to back it up.
You should have. The natural charisma that I have, though, but I digress. You've got the likes of UFC fighters as well. You already got to look at Anderson Silva. After he broke his leg, he was never the same.
Yeah.
It's mentally as well as physically. You're scared to go into tackles. You're scared to do what you would do normally out of fear of it happening again.
I mean, at least we're not horses.
Take us behind the woodshed and put a bullet in us.
Exactly. Shayna, talk to us about Eddie Jackson.
Eddie Jackson, wow. What a fantastic signing that is. The safety coming over from the Bears. In EDC, we trust Eric DeCosta is a fantastic GM. I thought we were slowly going to grab Justin Simmons from the Broncos. He's still on the market, by the way, for somebody who's interested in a very, very good safety. Eddie Jackson's a phenomenal talent. And as we mentioned before the show went on air, my favorite defensive player, the second reincarnation of the best linebacker in Ravens history, Ray Lewis. Roquan Smith got in his ear because he used to play for the Bears, and he brought him over. He got in John's ear and brought him over to play for us. I'm intrigued to see how him and Kyle Hamilton, the dynamic between those two is going to be. But either way, I think it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait.
So obviously, Roquan Smith's a better GM than Matt Judon. Is what I'm getting.
Well, rumor has it Matt Judon's coming home, but we'll put a pin in that one.
He ain't going nowhere, mate. He has said he wants to retire as a Patriot.
So, Dornsey has said, "What's up, my guys from across the pond? At Shane Harris, how about a no-fly zone Ravens defense back secondary unit 6? I'm lost."
Yeah, as I said, I've been watching the camp this week. LJ got picked up a few times, and so did Josh Johnson. That Ravens secondary looks dangerous.
We're going to training camps a bit, but it always reminds me when the teams. I mean, we saw it today with Drake May hitting Jalen Reagor, one-handed catch, big bomb. Yeah, brilliant, loved it. Then
Jalen Reagor could actually catch a ball.
Yeah, one-handed, mate, is a bloody good. And then you got obviously the Chiefs showing videos of like Xavier Worthy going deep and Mahomes hitting 60 yards off his back foot. So Jesus Christ, we're not gonna have another 5 years. He's
just not getting worse. He's just not declining, is he? Just not going down.
We'll get on to training camp stories in a bit, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I said something, and I know Mr. Perrins has alluded to it as well, but there is something that came out on the Pat McAfee show earlier on today, so I am going to show it now.
Oh, we can sense it, can't we? Football season is right around the corner. I've had one of the luckiest runs in the history of mankind. I was allowed to be a part of the multi-time Emmy Award-winning institution that is College Game Day.
Let a naysayer know.
That is not what I thought.
Professional's right in the middle of his league. That's all right. I keep going.
You almost lost me When my contract came up, after living a dream alongside that crew that is just as talented off camera as they are on camera.
What the hell is that? Stealth bomber right there.
I thought long and hard, am I the right person to be doing this incredible gig? There are millions of people that would love to be sitting in my seat. Am I the right guy for it? Is this what I want to do?
Kid, Alex, no! God! Somebody kill the kid! And no, God! Good effort! The worst kick we have ever seen!
And the only thing that I kept coming back to is, hell fucking yeah.
Give me Alabama to break home!
I'm lucky, I'm honored, I'm humbled, I'm grateful, and I'm back.
Give me a hell yeah!
So
I love that bloke. I absolutely love that bloke.
Don C's come up saying love Pat McAfee, even though he was a coach. Yeah.
You're very right, my friend.
Sure.
I would love
Pat
Pat
is so
McAfee.
good.
Yeah,
Pat
sure, he's brilliant.
He's self-made
McAfee
and
is-
brilliant, a
yeah.
pioneer.
Right, Phil.
Sorry. Pat McAfee is almost like the ultimate hype bro. Like I want him at my funeral because like he would be phenomenal. Now I've listened to his show for many. It kind of blew up during COVID when there was Booker All Else on YouTube and Spotify and Stitcher because it used to be on Stitcher. That's why I used to listen to it on, and it's only gotten bigger since then. So like I've kind of like I don't watch it every day now like I used to, but I will watch it at least once a week, and I will just kind of like just get the vibes, just kind of like love him. And he's such a great guy. And watching him when you've seen it, if you've done it like on it always gets the crowd going. Charlie, that's that's brilliant. That's what you want from like a presenter, especially in front of a live crowd, because he talks and he presents like a fan, and that's why he's so popular. And I think when you can interject that kind of like well, why is he so popular? Well, because he's just like a fan. He's just like any other guy that would just be sitting there drinking his Bud Light, literally talking about what he would do in that situation. And he's released this, and I love college football. Like, if you've ever had the chance, Shano, to watch College Game Day on a Saturday,
I love College Game Day.
And it's
Yeah,
also
boys, but you know from I know him as a punter for the Colts, obviously, right? But and everyone else knows me. I'm a huge wrestling fan. Me and Mr. P wax lyrical about wrestling all the time. So I know him from SmackDown. He came on SmackDown as a one-off, and he ended up sticking around because he'd done so well for himself. As you said, he is a personality. He's had a match at WrestleMania. You know, he's and not just an outgoing, huge, hype personality. He's also an incredible athlete.
He's also one of the few outsiders in professional wrestling that was almost like handpicked and put into it, because the one thing about wrestling fans is that they don't like outsiders. Like, if you're like an outsider celebrity or an outsider commentator, you're not one of us, they typically get turned on very, very quickly by like the audience and like, you know, the fandom and all that kind of stuff. It happens, you know, that I can't
Pretty tribal.
Yeah, it very much is, but like he has embraced it, and like he's one of it, and he's like you said, Charles, like he's such a great showman. And this has also coincided with not just that hype video of his return back to College Game Day, but next week drops a DLC on WWE 2K24 where him and his 4 co-hosts on the Pat McAfee show become playable wrestlers in a WWE
buying that, Phil?
game.
You buying that?
I've already got it. Yeah, I've already got it. I bought the DLC. I bought the DLC as soon as I bought the game. Like I bought the.
I knew you would.
Package for it. So like him dropping like, and this is going to be like sick because like next week I'm going to do like a War Games where I'm going to get like all my favorite wrestlers to take on the Pat McAfee show. Literally just be delivered.
Doesn't surprise me at all. Let's live stream now on the show, is it?
I'm going to get CM Punk to give him a GTS and literally pin him in the middle of the ring and send you a video, Shano, of it.
No worries, but you know where I am.
I mean, he brings a brilliant energy to his show. And I've seen clips of him when he does Raw as well. He brings that energy as well. You see
Brilliant, but he's so good.
when Uso comes down, he's doing that bloody waving the
He's on the
army.
table giving all this, and it's the same with the future world heavyweight champion Gunther as well.
So Don just said kickers are not considered real football players in the NFL. Pat knows that and is so self-deprecating here in the respective defense and offensive players in his team and throughout the league.
I don't think that's
Excellent shout. I think that's an excellent shout.
I don't think he's fully right about the comment that kickers are not considered real football players.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it is. Like, how many Super Bowls and championship and big games have been won by kickers and also lost by kickers? So
yeah,
I don't think that's necessarily the case. I just think his type of personality outshined the position that he was in, and we've seen it. If you like someone like I'm trying to think, Deion Sanders. Like he was a cornerback, a great cornerback, but his personality highlighted that position. Because when we think of like the NFL, what are the top 3 positions that the fandom and the media constantly talk about?
QB, wide receiver, and running back.
Defensive line?
No. Quarterback, wide receiver, running back. Like, absolutely. Like, defensive line, not so much. Well, now, but like, if we talk about like the prime superstar names, those are the three positions. But he's a punter, like he is with the occasional kicker, like. But he transcended it because of his personality, and we don't get that very often in sports. That's why, like, you don't really, when it was Mary Earps won the Sports Personality of the Year at Christmas as a goalkeeper. When was the last time we ever saw a goalkeeper become such a highlighted position in our football, let alone in sports in general? So there is just some odd occasions where the personality outshines the position. So I don't know whether or not it's I would say everything other than a kicker not being considered
100% true. 100% true.
Yeah, it was
Donna said
Spot on as well.
absolutely
100% true.
JT.
Yeah.
Donna said absolutely we don't win a Super Bowl without Justin Tucker, which is true.
Yeah.
And Shaw has said yeet.
Oh, grow up. Sorry, Shaw, I don't know who you are, love, but you can't talk yeet on this show.
And K-Code has said Jordan Pickford in the Euros, unlucky.
Just that.
I'm a Newcastle United fan, so anytime Jordan Pickford falls flat on his face, I love. So I don't understand why. Why that is detrimental.
You touched the nerve with Mr. P then, but touched the nerve.
Do we know how we can block K-Code if he slags off England?
Leave him alone.
Yeah, I mean, Pat McAfee, especially, he's elevating the college game now because of his show and what he does and bringing them to college game day.
I'm more likely to watch it now that Pat I watched it, but I will watch it knowing Pat is on the Saturday morning. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's the kind of stardom that's the reason why they brought him in. That's literally why ESPN brought him in, because he is that name. He is popular to strike while the iron's hot.
Why he's on the product? Yep, 100%.
But he brings on his own show. He brings other players in. He's had Bryson on. He's had Rory on. He's had Tigers on. He's had bloody. He was talking about Lando Norris earlier on in the week. That controversy in Hungary. He was talking about that, and they were literally ripping it into it. And I was like, "Yeah, that's brilliant." I sent that clip. I found a clip of it. Sent it to my son of him doing it. And he just brought out laughter. It's brilliant. He brings an unorthodox style of presenting to a professional organization. And
actually, while we're talking about your son, Ollie, I've got a bone to pick about that cocktail he had.
Oh yeah.
Go on then.
Didn't you say he had a cocktail called like the 49 or something, and he said it tastes like loser?
Oh yeah.
That's not funny, but it is.
He had a so where we went, they had mocktails, and it was called San Francisco. I said, "Oh, what's it taste like?" It tastes like losing.
Kid's got sass, I like it.
Well, he's a KC fan. They're not used to losing yet. He's only been a KC fan for about 3-4 years. He's 12, so let's give him that.
We went through this for United, but we went through this, didn't we? Everything was good, and then everything wasn't.
Leeds United, West Ham United.
Look at TNS player. TNS lost the other day.
They did.
Really quiet.
They got absolutely battered.
Right. Mr. Perrins, you're going to cover some history.
Yes.
Before you're on training camp.
Ooh.
Right. So I'm just going to load up my notes because now being off, I've actually really, really engaged in listening to a lot of history, because that's one of the things that you obviously know when I had my This Day in Sports kind of like history segment a couple of seasons ago.
Oh yeah.
I think maybe we could bring it back. Maybe we'll talk about it.
We should bring it back.
But there was a game played 150 years ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I wasn't on the pod to talk about it. But there was a game between Harvard Crimson and a Canadian football school called McGill Redmen. Okay, and this game changed how American football was played in the United States. So think about it this way: back in the 1860s, American football was nothing really like what we come to know of it now. It was played with a round ball, for instance. A team could have up to 15 players on the field at one go. So you could have up to 15, but no less than 9. So sometimes the teams were a little bit outbalanced because obviously, if you had a consistent team, you could fill all 15. But if you didn't, you would have like maybe 9, 10, 11, whatever. Scoring was incredibly difficult, and they had thirds or games instead of quarters that we've come to expect now. So one game was played between this school at Harvard and this school in Canada. Now, they couldn't decide on which rules they were going to do because there wasn't really a consistent rule. Every school that played football had their own set of rules. And if you were the visiting team, you would be expected to play the home team's rules, if that makes sense. Yeah? Are you following me so far?
Yeah, I got you.
So when McGill and Harvard played their first game on the 14th of May, 1874, it was under Boston rules. And Boston rules was the most unfootball-like thing ever. It was played with a round ball. There was you weren't allowed to tackle unless the quarterback was running, and passing was not encouraged. So it was just kind of like it wasn't really what we come to expect.
So basically, it was Lamar Jackson back in the 1860s.
Kind of.
I was going to say, if Brady was playing, he wouldn't have got touched because he didn't piss and move.
Now that game, Harvard beat the Canadian school 3-0. Okay, the second game was then played the day after in Canada, so they went all the way from Harvard all the way to Canada for the second game. Now that second game ended in 0-0, a draw, but the American college, Harvard, much preferred the rules of the Canadian rugby style of football, where you could pass the ball lateral, you can pass the ball forwards unless you get to where the ball was snapped initially. And again, tackling was encouraged because it was the rugby set of rules. And after playing this game, Harvard, who was again the biggest university in America, went back to like the college syndicate and wanted to play the Canadian rules more consistently going forward because the players much preferred that set. So when they went to the other colleges, they kind of enforced that a Canadian rugby style of playing football as opposed to the Boston style that they'd been used to playing for the last 15 years. So after that one game, they managed to convince the entirety of American college system to actually play that style of football. Now, I can tell that I'm boring the shit out of Hopi because
this is interesting, dude.
You look so uninterested.
I am interested.
His eyes are heavy, love him. Pass his head, time expert.
So ever since then, like the Harvard players love the Canadian rugby version of the game so much that they quickly abandoned the Boston rules in favor of the Canadian rules. They then convinced other universities to do the exact same, and the game evolved from this point, becoming the American football that we came to know from the 1880s. So that one game in May in 1874 massively influenced the sport that we now love 150 years later. And I think that's just one thing that we don't really acknowledge sometimes, how sport evolves and how talking about different cultures and different rules actually progress certain sports. Because when we look at like the world, and especially like in America at this moment in time where there is such high division, you actually forget that your pastime was actually evolved from allowing other cultures and other people playing your sport and then taking on board what they did to make your sport even better. And I think that's one thing that we sometimes forget in terms of our society and culture in general.
Yeah, I mean,
John has come in saying can't touch the quarterback ever, Brady rules, and then goes on to say Tom is the GOAT, best to ever do it, period.
Hey, it wasn't a fumble.
It was.
Sorry, Don. It looks like you spelled Joe Montana incorrectly.
Steve Young incorrectly. I'd expect him that.
But I mean, as much as I love the great Steve Young, Joe Montana's Joe Montana. Like,
I mean, everyone's always said that NFL is a collaboration of rugby and football.
Yes,
but what is it's basically it's gone from Lamar Jackson playing the game to Mahomes playing the game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get punched by Shane next time he sees me.
But every
generation, October the 6th, we're counting the days.
But like every generation, let's go back to like more of a modern era, so like the 1970s. The 1970s was strict, hardcore defense. The 80s, that West Coast style of like, and we've got players that can actually pass the ball and catch the ball. That's used and abused that a lot more. The 90s, the run game was literally where it was all at. The 2000s, it went back to passing and defense. And now we've got to like the 2010s with like the mobile quarterbacks where we've had Cam Newton, Lamar, Colin Kaepernick, and then that evolution into what Patrick Mahomes and Josh Burrows is like now. So it literally
Josh Burrows. Josh Burrows sound.
So Joe Burrow, sorry.
There you go.
And I actually meant like Josh Allen. I actually meant to say.
You're accusing Josh Allen and Joe Burrows.
You're getting
Yeah, one got blonde hair, the other one haven't.
I know. I've been out of the loop, man. But like every generation, the sport evolves. So if you said like every 10 years, if we watch a game from like this season, and then we go back and watch a game from 2014, and then a game from 2004, and then a game from 1994, it will look so different because every team would have evolved in that aspect.
Yeah.
Except that the Ravens have never had a good quarterback.
Yeah.
That's been
Callum
consistent.
What now?
Callum
What did you say?
Callum has said Perry Perrins.
Yes, I can see that Callum has remembered how to spell in the 6 weeks that he will have on.
Enough about this childish nonsense, right? OBH, what did you just say? We never had a good quarterback. We won 2 Super Bowls, one with Joe Cool and one with arguably the Niners' best quarterback ever.
I'm sorry, I don't think Montana played for the Ravens.
No, but Trent never did.
Donna said Joe Burrow looks like Marshall Mathers. Did you see
I
that?
actually thought he
Marshall
looked like.
Mathers, what planet are you on?
I actually
Marshall
thought he looked
Mathers.
like Cody Rhodes. Like there's a one picture where someone.
Oh, of
So
course.
there's a picture where someone's put like his tattoo onto his neck, and I went, "That's so funny."
Well, if you follow our socials, you'll see that I shared the picture of him with the world title belt around his waist today.
Yes.
It looks exactly like him.
He did indeed. Right.
Thank you.
Right. Training camp started yesterday.
Yes.
Tuesday. So pretty much every team's back now. Obviously, you get the highlight pros: Mahomes to Worthy, Drake to Riga. I haven't seen anything come from Brock Purdy or Lamar. Oh, hang on, Lamar didn't train. That was right.
He was ill, but he sat out the first 2 practices because he was ill, and he came back for the 3rd, and he still had to leave halfway through. He's not well, love him.
I haven't seen anything from Niners, to be fair, but they are fair enough. It is what it is. And also, we have the scuffles where Singletary decided to take out Dalton Schultz after,
Yeah.
which was mad.
He didn't hold back, did he? He full on took him out.
He went full on for it. And then obviously we had Clappers literally lit up Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
Woo!
Literally lit him up. Kadarius Toney literally ended up in the different practice field. And,
Wonder how long he'd be waiting to do that.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend didn't like it and set him straight.
Who?
We always see this in
You
training.
can just call him Travis Kelce.
I'd rather not.
I
It's
actually
more
can't wait.
fun
Thank you.
to look up. I
I
literally-
He gets reactions like that.
I could call him Taylor Swift bitch.
Oh, woo-hoo! I told him before, he'd be pregnant before she will.
Keiko just said, me saying Marshall Mathers has cracked him up.
Right. Let's go over some of the big stories. I'm gonna start in Dallas. So CeeDee Lamb's holding out. So CeeDee Lamb's obviously taking, gone seeing what happened when Zeke held out in 2019. He
Because that
then
worked
became
out
the
so
highest
well
paid.
for Zeke.
He then became the highest paid running back in the league.
But it wrecked his career.
Yeah. Zach Martin held out, then became the highest paid O-lineman in the league. Have Dallas Cowboys made a rod for a lone back? CeeDee Lamb is not going to be made the highest paid wide receiver in the league.
I think they
He might do it
make
for 5
him
minutes.
highest paid- I think they might make him the highest paid receiver in the league. That's the thing.
But why? He's not worth it. He is not better than Amon-Ra St. Brown, for example.
He is
Um,
better.
Really?
He's better than Amon-Ra St. Brown.
No,
He is.
In my opinion, he's the second best receiver in the league.
Whoa, that's a big shout.
Really?
Yeah.
You think that? Oh my!
Don't worry, OBH. He's always had questionable judgment. It's fine.
And
So he's a Bolton fan.
you know how much I hate the Cowboys, but I really think CeeDee Lamb is a quality receiver.
He doesn't do it enough.
And it pains me to say that.
I think Mike Evans is better. I think your guy that is holding out is better.
I'll tell you what,
Johnny
if you want
Evans
my
is
say, Ollie, if you think Mike Evans is so good, come get him off my fantasy team. I've been trying to get rid of him for about 3 seasons now.
Take him, he's yours, man.
So yeah, you think they're going to pay him? You think he's going to be then become the highest paid player in the league?
I do.
The highest paid. I don't get it. I really don't get why you would pay someone more than Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs. For some reason, Michael Pittman and Calvin Ridley. But
Stephon Diggs is overrated.
Jesus, you're on one tonight. You are now.
I mean, you're saying CD Lamb doesn't do it enough. Stephon Diggs definitely doesn't do it enough.
Yeah, I agree there. Diggs has been a
We'll see this year. We'll see this year in Houston. We'll see when he's got class all around him. We'll see what happens. I can't wait to see the Texans this year. They're going to be really intriguing.
And not someone who wants to throw it over his head and hope he catches it. Sorry.
John has come up saying Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson. Tyreek Hill's a 3 for me.
Mine's Jefferson, Chase. I mean, we're going to do our top 50 in a couple of weeks anyway. That's coming out in a couple of weeks.
We promise. And we're taking suggestions for that. If you want to sort of, taking suggestions for that. If you want to give us suggestions for your entries and things like that, we'll gladly take them.
NFL are talking their top 100 at the moment.
Yeah.
Yes, Aaron Rodgers is in the top. Is he 80 something or 90?
He was 92.
Like he played 4 snaps.
And one of them was his Achilles.
Yeah.
Legacy boys, legacy.
His snap was his Achilles.
Brandon Ayuk came in at 66. Dre Greenlaw 76.
Yes, you know they're not playing red.
Right. Cowboys. They made a rod for their own back by going, right, okay, don't turn at training. You're going to get $40,000 fine, but it's fine. We'll pay you. Why? Oh, you don't want to turn up, don't want to get paid. If we did that, A, we'd get sacked, and B, wouldn't be made the highest paid player. But imagine if he did it at school. He's not paying.
Yeah, he just didn't win. I want more money. He just didn't win. What was he doing?
I mean,
is he a friend like that partner or?
That is literally what the teachers do, like, fairly often.
Careful now. Careful now. Don't know.
Continue.
You book off the show now.
Oh, wow. That's so brutal. That
you wouldn't even last 5 minutes in a classroom.
Oh, they play fuck with him.
Literally.
I think the only one that could is me because I coach kid football.
I couldn't do it. Like how? No chance on this earth I couldn't do it.
Callum, if you're still listening, would Baby be able to cope as a teacher at our school?
I'm not trying to claim.
I'm stuck with my boy just for a living. I couldn't do it.
I'm not trying to claim I could.
Oh, Dallas going to have a problem coming out because obviously Dak and Micah Parsons needs paying.
I don't think they're going to pay Dak. Dak wants $60 million. I don't think they're going to pay him.
Yeah.
Where's he going to go?
They haven't got the bloody cap space for example.
Vegas. He's going to be in Vegas next year.
Do you reckon?
No. You keep saying that. Like they haven't got a perfectly capable superstar quarterback as it is.
I think even the biggest Minshew fan would say he's not that good.
I also don't think the Raiders can afford that next year, just to let you know. I don't think they can.
I think they have cap space. And
they got 34 million cap space.
Adams will quit or leave or retire. Adams isn't happy in Vegas.
Okay.
Adams has got 1 year left of his contract anyway.
Yeah, and Adams isn't even. I don't think Adams is even the highest paid player on that team. I think Max Crosby is.
Yeah, Max Crosby is. I mean, next year they are going to have cap space is 31 million. The Raiders are going to have next season, so they've got space. But yeah, then it comes to it. Do you want to pay probably your defensive star or your franchise quarterback?
Yes.
Don, I'm a Niners fan. Same as
sick.
Yeah.
Buzzing.
The world famous 5-time world champion San Francisco 49ers.
Come back to us when you're 6.
Oh, we will, mate. Don't worry, we will.
Come back to us when it's not just one guy that made you relevant.
You got snapped.
Whoa.
Wait,
there was 2. Bill and Tom.
Bill and Tom. There was 2.
What? Imagine the arrogance of that, considering that the 49ers had Bill Walsh, Montana, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, George
Steve
Seifert.
Young.
Just to name 5.
One
Catch me
of
up, Steve Young.
I mean, I can
Ronnie
go
Lott,
through a
Dwight
list of
Clark.
different Trey Law. We had a list of players, mate, on both sides of the
So did
ball.
we? Like,
Yeah, I love when the Geordie comes out at him. So did we? I fucking love it.
The thing is, I'm the same. I go Brummy. I go
Oh, I
really
love it.
Brummy.
Yeah, I can do that then, yeah. I
But
don't change my accent, don't change.
I've heard Shane do the same when TNS lose. Like, he gets really upset.
I don't fucking support TNS. It's you, not me.
Right,
I've got the
all in.
fucking Reds.
Yeah,
let's
TNS.
let's roll on to your issues with Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams. I'm going to go
Yes.
make a tea. We're going to let you two talk about it.
Okay, so Trent Williams is looking for an extension because his contract is up at the end of next year. So I've been listening to like a couple of 49er radio shows and a few kind of like trippets and things like that. Trent is sitting out because he wants a 2-year extension. He wants to remain and finish with the 49ers. And then obviously the thing with Brandon Ayuk has turned up to training because there was a couple of things that went over social media where he's like walking along the pitch with John Lynch. And by the way, John Lynch looks absolutely stacked, by the way. I don't know if you saw it, baby. Have you seen her? Like how yoked he looks.
I've been watching all the press conferences.
So that's where Trent Williams currently is. I think we'll eventually settle with Brandon Ayuk, and I think Ayuk will probably, as long as this draws out, because he hasn't skipped, he's participated. He's like having a sit in. Even if he's not doing like physicals, he's literally there doing like individual warm-ups. He's in the facilities around the pitches.
They call it a holding, don't they?
Yes, yeah. So he's in the building. So it's not like Bosa and Debo that sat out and went missing, essentially. He's in the facility. So I think he's still kind of like locked in, like he wants to remain. And I think there's a lot of wrongful media buzz around Brandon Ayuk requesting a trade. I think that's just Brandon Ayuk's way of like saying, well, I want to stay, but if you don't value me, I guess I can't remain here. And I think that's what the media's ran with in terms of, he wants a trade, he doesn't want to be here. No, he just says, I want to stay. I want you to value me like you want me to stay. I think that's how it's been probably come across as. And yeah, Trent is looking for an extension. And
Trent will get an extension.
Yes, but I don't think Trent deserves the extension on the money that he currently is on. He would need to take a huge wage hit because he is the highest paid player on the 49ers roster. Like if you look at no, he is. And we looked at this at the back end of last year, didn't we, baby? Like we looked at like the salary cap for this year, like where Bosa would fit.
Million.
Yeah, Bosa sits under Trent Williams. Because I think it goes Trent, Bosa, Debo, Warner.
Trent, Warner, Hargrave, Debo, Kittle, Bosa.
Jesus Christ. Like, and Hargrave,
CMC's nowhere near that.
Yeah, but CMC signed an extension and took a pay cut to remain with the 49ers.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a pay cut. It was a pay cut for this year, but it's backloaded.
Yeah, exactly. And that'll pay off. That'll pay off in a couple of years when some of these players will be moved on, like your Hargraves, like your Williams, and don't forget we've got that fat thing that that Brock Purdy thing that's going to be coming up soon.
Yeah, I mean, John Lynch has literally said next season we will make Purdy the highest paid player in the NFL, which for Mr. Relevant is crazy.
So that's never going to be done again. I will say one thing about it really quickly. Trent Williams is 36. You want to watch what he's doing.
I know. He's missed games the last couple of seasons for long stretches of time because of injury problems. Now, don't get me wrong. He is still probably the best left tackle in the league. However, he is starting to look his age. He's starting to play his age. And he's not quite like if you go back and watch some of the footage of some of the snaps from the back end of last year where he's not even going down for his 3-point stance or his 2-point stance. He's kind of like an old man trying to get off the sofa. And that's not me taking the mick because he's amazing. But like if you watch him, he doesn't go down. He's kind of like almost moving in slow motion. And I'm really sorry that I have to say this because I respect him. I think he's a great player. But his time is coming towards the end, and I'm surprised that the 49ers didn't think about this more in the draft this season instead of going for like, you know, the parcel that we ended up, you know, signing in the end, just not addressing our offensive line, because that is consistently where our problem has been. The offensive line, left tackle in particular, and our secondary has been problems that have cost the 49ers massively in the last 5 years. Hell, going back to when we lost the Super Bowl against the Ravens, that cost us massively not having a decent secondary. So I'm surprised that we actually ended up with that wide receiver now that he's injured.
Well, yeah, but he'll be back next week. But yeah, I think Trent Williams will get an extension, and I think he will be paid eye-watering amounts of money. But I was looking on, I think it was overthecap.com, or it was one of those websites. They had a way where we pay him, but the way it works, it's massively backloaded, and we actually free up cap space for the next 2 years.
Yeah,
You need it. That's the problem.
Yeah, we need it. We need it because next year, if you look at who we have,
million.
next year we have to pay Brock Purdy, and also out of contract is Hufanga, Lenore, and Javarius Ward.
Is he washing clothes?
Basically,
now looking at some of those though,
Is he washing clothes? Lenore, ladies and gentlemen. Very good.
considering about the whole thing with Hufanga, we talked about injuries earlier on. He's coming back from a horrendous
ACL, yeah.
injury, so we'll see whether or not he is. We'll see how he is this year to see whether or not the 49ers want to stick or twist in terms of like let's see how he's going to. And Drew Greenlaw, I mean, he's coming back from another horrible.
that's somebody else is out of contract at the end of the season.
Exactly. So the 49ers are going to look and go like, well, these are players we can only really keep, let's say, 3 of them. Which are the 3 that we think we can keep and pay what they think they're worth, because they're all coming back from horrendous injuries, which could slow them down, which can alter how they practice, alter how they participate, alter how long they actually spend in the game, because that's why you have like switching and switch outs. So I think this is actually the final 49er year for that window.
I agree with you.
And Neil Reynolds as well has said the same thing.
According to Carl King, all you non-Raven fans needs Brandon Ayuk is going to the Ravens. According to Carl Ellis.
Okay.
Okay.
Have we got a cap space though?
Just quickly, Donna said, do you guys believe in Purdy?
Say his name.
Why would you ask?
He appears. I believe in Brock Purdy. I believe in Brock Purdy.
I will say something. For this franchise, for this offensive play, he works. I don't know what it'd be like going elsewhere. It's not like Tom Brady did it after 20 years in New England, then goes somewhere else and he goes, right, I'm bringing my offense, what I've dealt with the last 20 years down in Tampa, and it'll work. If this was 15 years down the time and Brock Purdy did the same, then you could say that. But at the moment, at this time, this works because of the tools he's got around him. And yeah, I do think Brock Purdy works well, does well in San Francisco. I don't say he is the best quarterback yet. He is in that top. He's in the second tier.
Just one quick thing about Brock Purdy. I can't see his contract extension next year dragging out like it has with Debo and Bosa, because he feels like the kind of guy that wouldn't play games.
Yeah.
Humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's only paid $3 million for a year. That's 2 years. He doesn't get paid. Right. Green Bay, Jordan Love isn't practicing until he gets his contract signed. He's again in the building. They are close. It makes me chuckle.
This will happen in the next week.
Yeah. This makes me chuckle because he's played 1 season, 2 games. Yes.
I'm good for 1 season. Pay me money, please.
His trajectory back in the last season was brilliant.
Until he came up against the Niners.
Well, then again, you can say that.
We should come against Niners.
you can say that about until you came up against the Chiefs. You know, it happens.
It's true. We always fought against the Chiefs and the Ravens.
Donna's come up saying, I like him, no shade, just curious. I'm guessing that's Purdy.
Yeah, it is.
Hassan
It's okay to be
Reddick.
curious.
Hassan Reddick, he's holding out now. He's not in Jets facility. Now, he only signed mid of last season, didn't he, with New York?
Yeah.
Yeah. From Philadelphia.
So apparently, from the rumors I've heard, is that he was promised to get a nice big fat paycheck coming in when he signed. That's why he signed for them, and it hasn't happened. So he's pissed, and that's putting it nicely. Matt Judon, he is practicing, he is participating.
Coming home.
No, he's not.
Home.
He is home, mate. He is staying in New York, in New England. He's staying in New England. He wants to stay in New England. He wants to retire a Patriot. Doesn't want to go to Baltimore, where they literally choke in the playoffs. You know.
I mean, at least they make the playoffs.
Hey, we will be back. We will be back.
Yeah, I don't think I had that much time to wait.
No. And let's go. And the Dolphins' offense are struggling as Tua sits out while his contract talks go on as well. Again, he wants another one, a stupid amount of money, and he is not worth stupid amount of money.
Don wants Judon back.
No, that ain't happening. See, Matt Judon, he's over my right shoulder. Look, that's a painting of Matt Judon up there. He's staying in New England, mate.
I mean, you met Matt Judon the other year, didn't you? When you went to
Yes, Matt Judon nearly took my arm out of my shoulder. It freaking killed. What a legend. You know, what a really nice guy, to be fair, as well. Proper go. Anything that any of you
Did
guys...
you tell him you did a podcast?
Of course I did, mate. Of course I did. I see,
Hi,
Matt,
if you're watching.
So I've seen when I was aboard, I saw Bill's fan took the piss out of him and said to him, "Oh, choke it, can choke or something again." The person said something about Panthers fan. Wasn't mean to him because
they've suffered enough. Enough.
And I saw Dolphins fan. I said, "Oh my god, I can't get away from them lot," which was quite funny. And then obviously explained, did the podcast, sold it all out. So yeah. Might have a few Spanish listeners. I need to listen. Look, but yeah, so really good on that. Anyone else has got the anything from training camp that you guys want to talk about, Mr. P?
Not really, because I mean my my cable has gone down recently, so I've only been keeping up to date via social media and and reading the NFL news sites. So I've not really got anything this week to talk about.
I've got some breaking news.
Go on.
Yeah.
This apparently was announced yesterday, but I've not seen it. Julian Love has signed a 3-year extension with the Seahawks.
Ooh, that's a big catch. He is very good. He's very good addition. Well, yeah.
Who's that again? Sorry,
Julian Love, Seahawks.
I thought you said Jordan Love. I
thought you said Jordan Love as well. I was like, we just talked about
what? Well, he's got love on the brain. I'm afraid he's got love on the brain.
Mr. Harris, you had your hand up.
Yes, I always do. No, I just thought we were wrapping up for the evening. That's all, because it's pushing that hour mark. Have we got anything to say, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, we
just
do
want
have
to.
a question.
Oh, of course. I'll shut my mouth. I'll wait until you finish then.
Is that your question there? No. Baby Hope, give us your question.
So my question was, which two teams were involved in the highest ever NFL game scoring-wise? And for a bonus point, I said, what was the score?
Was it Rams and Chiefs?
No.
That's what I was thinking. Oh, okay.
No, it was.
It was back in 1966.
Good year, 1966. Eric Cantona was born.
East.
So the game was the Washington Redskins versus the New York Giants, where the Washington Redskins were victorious in a 72-41 game.
Wow. Quick maths. How many points is that combined? Quickly.
113.
130, yeah.
Well
Who
done,
was
lad.
the quarterback for the Redskins that day then?
I don't know.
I don't know, but it might have been the fantasy points in that.
Yeah, I was going to say that's insane.
Before we do have wrap up, a couple of things we've got coming up in the next few weeks. Obviously, we have got our top 50. We've got our power rankings coming out. We have got our predictions coming out. We have, of course, got our live draft coming out that we always do for our fantasy football, which is absolute carnage, which we need to sort that one out, gentlemen.
Yes.
Which is the most carnage thing doing, but I absolutely love doing it. And Noah's already said, can we do it when he's here, please, so we can sit him down and watch? But yeah, it's absolute carnage, and I love when we do our fantasy draft online.
It's great when we get like 7 or 8 people on.
Oh god, yeah, Mr. P.
Is this been announcing he's actually going to play this year?
You
Yes.
played last year.
Well, there's
Not
playing
really.
and then there's playing, isn't there? Like,
Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. Come on, man.
now, here's a wild rule in the NFL.
You
The
can't,
NFL
take,
has
you can't take a defense first.
No, well, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing this year. I'm going to do the exact same thing this year. The NFL has a rule that if less than 15 players die in a tragedy, the team must continue the season with priority on waiver claims. If more than 15 players die on that team, the commissioner decides if the team should continue playing. What?
Whoa.
Perrin, Dawn has said that Sonny Jurgensen was the QB for the Skins that day.
My name rings a bell.
Yeah,
Thanks for
yeah.
Thanks for filling that gap for us.
Yeah.
Didn't Sonny Jurgensen have like a singing career with Cher?
That's right. I'll send you know you're daft.
I think it's something completely different. I'm not going to say this on an audio
Sonny and Cher.
or a visual description device because we could get into
Oh.
serious amount of trouble.
I thought you were going to start singing "I Got You, Babe," Ollie. Then
No.
Did I? I got you, babe.
Right. As always, this will be live on Spotify, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Google, Amazon wherever you get your podcast from. It will be on there tomorrow. It's going to be a bit later because I'm going to bed, so I'm not editing it now. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back 7:30 live on your Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you watch us. Until then, good night. Stay safe.